Welcome to Hope Connection. My name is DeDe Jones, and I am right here at Lovers Lane United Methodist Church.
And I'm Stan Copeland, the pastor here. And today we have Donna Whitehead, who's also been an associate pastor here for 25 years, been in ministry for 44 years, is a true pioneer in ministry in this conference. And we're going to talk some about that. But we also want to talk about her new book, I Am Enough.
It's so good.
It is really good. It's a memoir for spiritual seekers. Donna, I'm so mad at you because I started reading this on a plane to El Paso a few days ago, and I read it into the night, woke up the next morning and started reading it until I read every single word of it, and it's really, really good. What inspired you to write it?
I just knew it was the right time in my life and the time to share some of the experiences I'd had in the ministry and in my life and in my faith journey. And a friend said to me, probably at the right time, she said, "You remember, you like to write. You were really good at it." And I thought, oh, maybe that's true. And she gave me the confidence to start, and I'm glad I did. Yeah,
it's really good, really good. DeDe, what about you? I mean, you're a woman in ministry in the United Methodist Church, and how do you look at Donna as somebody who actually started her ministry in 1980? Were you alive then?
Barely.
Okay.
Yes. But I sit in and I mean this sincerely. You read this book, and it's like a journey and a road traveled that the rest of us didn't have to do. And it opens. I mean, you sit there and you look at it, and I went through it, and I learned so much about you that I know. But I was thankful for your journey because your journey gave the rest of us a path to walk. And it was so special. It was so special. And I sit there, and there are glimpses of hope throughout the entire book. But do you have a favorite in the book of, like, how you found hope?
I think the whole story of being restless and kind of knowing that I wanted more and coming to the discovery that I could have something to do with finding hope in my relationship with God in a new way. As I did look at my flaws, as I did start looking, especially after I got here at Lover's Lane, I started looking more deeply into who I was. I was searching for more about clarity about who I was. And I started seeing my flaws, that I like to be first, I like to succeed, I like to compete, and all that was good, but it was getting in the way of me going deeper and receiving God's love. So really the name of the book, I Am Enough, came because I really realized once I went deeper, God's love was right there waiting for me. And I wanted other people to be reminded of that also, because so many people have said to me, I hear voices in my head all the time saying, I am not enough. And I want people to know clearly, once more, they are enough.
And do you think that women fight that?
Yes.
In the hardest of ways?
Yes.
Struggling to realize they really are enough?
Yes. We're socialized to always be helpers, to always be second, to not be bold, to not get out there, to not go for it. We're supposed to be appropriate and so forth. And many of us had that message, and we need to let go of that because God's calling us to be bold.
You know, for our audience today that may not know this, but in the book you talk about the fact that you've been in really two churches in your ministry.
Right.
One for 20 years, that was a fast-growing church in the Dallas suburbs of Plano, the Custer Road United Methodist Church. And you really started there when y'all were in a school and just had a handful of people, and you watched that church grow to 6,000. I remember reading a book about the 10 fastest growing United Methodist churches back, I think, in the 1980s. And, there was Custer Road. And then I know the pastor was very instrumental in the growth of that church, but what a lot of people may not know is that you were the one who was starting all the classes and groups, which was a lot of them, dozens and dozens of them. And that's what the book featured was, that Custer Road was a church that had big Sunday school, big groups that were really driving the growth of the church. Can you say more about that early time in your ministry and the excitement? How did you get that job? I love that story in here. Tell us about it.
Well, as I look back, I realized I was very blessed. after not getting 2 jobs that I really wanted, a door opened when I realized that there was a church, Custer Road United Methodist Church, 4 miles from my home, with a pastor, Mark Craig, who had just begun this, had the first meeting of the church. And as I pursued that and asked Mark and said, I want to come to work and I'll do it for free, and he loved that. I was going to come for free. And we were such a good match together for a beginning church at that time in the life of Plano. When everybody was moving there, it was the place to be. And the Methodists got there before anyone else. He had the gift of communicating to unchurched males, and I had the gift of building the infrastructure and connecting with people once they got there. And it was a great combination, and we just took off and stayed, with a mandate to reach the unchurched. And so it's a great time. I look back on it, and I'm very grateful for it.
And you come here, a church that's in a grown-out neighborhood.
Yes, very different.
Very much in the heart of Dallas, in essence. And that had to have been kind of a shock coming from where you were to Lover's Lane.
Very humbling. It was very humbling. It's probably the very best thing that could have happened to me spiritually, because it did cause me to struggle, to fail, I felt at first I didn't belong.
I don't believe you failed.
Yeah, like I never. Oh, yeah,
failed.
Sure. Oh no, I failed, and I learned, though, the difference was when I came here and I struggled, I began to look at myself, as I said earlier, and go deeper. And it changed the way I saw the congregation. And the people here did wholly accept me. And I came to love being here after a period of struggle.
You've seen a lot of change here. The church that you came to was pretty much I'd say a homogenous church that was pretty much all Anglo.
Yes.
And you address that in the book about how this church. I can really resonate with that. How this church changed you.
Yes.
Can you speak to that? How the church changed you?
Yes. It helped me get comfortable being uncomfortable, because over and over again I would think, oh my goodness, this is different. This is not going to help us, quote, grow numerically. This is going to be a challenge. The deaf ministry, the African fellowship, the different things that we started that were so important and so good, listening to the Holy Spirit. But I thought, is this going to grow the church numerically? And I realized in time that was important. It is continually important to reach the unchurched, but it's even more important that we go deeper in our spiritual life, and that we connect with one another on a meaningful level and call each other to learn to deal with differences. And so that happened to me here and grew my soul.
Yeah, that is neat.
Wow.
Well, one of on the cover of the book, I'll show it to you again. It says inspiring, one word, by Dustin Lance Black, Academy Award winning screen author. And what you don't say in here, your nephew.
Yes. Yes.
By marriage, Don's nephew. Right. And Lance really has an interesting story. Can you tell us a little bit more about him?
Oh, he has a fantastic story. Grew up in Texas, very conservative Mormon background. And the key move in his life was when he was 12 years old, and he went to California and discovered the world of art and theater. And he was very, very good at writing. And that introverted, shy 6-year-old became an important speaker to the whole world, really. He didn't intend to, I don't think, to be just a trailblazer for LGBTQ people, but that's what he became because he had such a strong message. And it was his story that he really felt strongly when he received the Academy Award in 2009.
For Milk.
For Milk.
Yes. In the movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. He said, I want this to be a message to the world that you can become anything God has created you to be, and he was an example of that.
And Don's sister was his mother.
Yes.
And her story is so powerful.
Yes.
You know, stricken by polio and,
Right.
you know, basically, you know, had to walk with crutches and aids all of her
right.
life. And
Paralyzed from the waist down, yet had 3 children and 3 sons. He was her middle son, and was very good at what she did. She was in technology, and she was very good at that. And she got to go with him to the Academy Award presentation.
Right.
She died the year after that, but she got to see him make that incredible speech and make that incredible difference in her life.
yeah, his book was called Mama's Boy, I believe.
That's right.
And
That's right.
it's really a great book, too.
Yes.
Really
yes.
a great book, too.
Yes.
But I remember when he came here and held a seminar of sorts. He was they were actually filming a documentary, I believe.
Yes.
And our members who gathered there and were able to ask him questions, and he was just so approachable and so real.
Yes.
And I know you have to be really proud. And he has to be proud that you featured him in this book as one who changed your life.
Yes.
Gave you hope.
Yes. He wanted to hear other people's points of view, too. When he was here, he asked for people who did not see the homosexuality issue in the same way he did. He wanted to broaden his view. He always wanted to listen. And he was one of those people that taught me how important it is to be real, to be authentic, to be honest. He modeled that, and others did too. And so I do very much respect what he brought to our community as well as to actually the whole world.
DeDe, how's Donna encouraged you? She's such an encourager.
Well, and she has totally been for me.
Yeah.
When I think about what I've learned from you the most is that you've taught me that you're never too old to learn.
Good.
And that learning is so important. And I'm a nerd at heart, so learning is huge for me. But sometimes you get to this point of thinking, I've learned that, I've been there, I've done that, I've wore the T-shirt, and there's not much I can learn from that. And when I watch you, it's like looking through new eyes of what can I learn today? And I think when I read this, one of the questions I was thinking of today as I was flying back is, what do you want to learn tomorrow? What is the next thing you want to learn? What do you feel like you're not there yet? What do you want to learn? Because I can't imagine what that would be. You have so much knowledge.
Well, I mostly want to learn how to continue to be curious about intellectually, spiritually, and emotionally, because I feel so strongly that the spiritual journey is related to the emotional and physical journey of growing up. So I want to keep growing up. I want to keep growing up in all of those areas, and I want everybody to know that our spiritual journey can continue and continue and continue. It is not finished. There is so much more that God has to reveal to us about who we are and how we relate to Him and how close we can be to Him and how that unconditional love that He wants to give all of us is so available if we just step into that presence. So I want to learn how to more easily step into that present and live in the presence and live fully in today, in the moment of today, not in the future or the past.
So in God's presence, but in the present.
Yeah, in the with a capital P.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. I want to do that more, and I want to learn more easily how to do it.
Yeah, you are an inspiring lifelong learner. I'll say that. DeDe hit that nail on the head. You know, the thing that I think the book really speaks to is the world that we live in today that has so many divisions, and there's such a sense of the other, you know, and the us and them that seems to be so popular, unfortunately, not just in our country, but I think that it's going on in other countries throughout the world. And your book really brought me hope. Just you sharing your learning about being with people who are different than you, and how you saw the value in them. I particularly love the story of the Everybody's Christmas and you meeting Cadillac. Tell us about Cadillac.
Yeah, I love that story too, Stan. I met him right before Christmas, on everybody's Christmas, which was about the 19th of December that year, he got off the bus, and he and I sat together as we started worship, which is always my favorite part of everybody's Christmas. You were leading the music, and he and I got to know each other, and he kept saying to me, I just got out of prison. I was in a car wreck recently, and I should have died, but God saved me, and I do not understand why I was saved. I don't understand that. Why didn't I die? And so I tried not to answer it too quickly, and we went on about the night. And then later, he came back, and I saw him again. He said, I'm still wrestling with that question. And I said, I want you to know that God probably created you to teach people like me that we're all alike. We're all on the same playing field. We are.
He was homeless, right?
He was homeless, yes, very homeless. And he looked at me like there was a strong connection between us at that point. Yeah. He knew that I meant what I was saying. We were exactly, nobody's better than anyone else at all. And Cadillac taught me that. And he did not know that earlier that night, I had realized that in some way, in some tiny way, I was still thinking I was better than him, but I was not.
Yeah, yeah, wow. Such a powerful story. Well, I'm going to just thank Donna for coming on and for the wonderful book that she's taken time to write. I think it's been coming together over, what? 5
years.
A 5-year period?
Took a long time.
Yep.
Took a long time.
It really does reflect that depth and that thought that I know went into it. And you can get this book on Amazon. And we're going to have Donna for another show. But right now, we're going to say goodbye to you and thank you so much for listening to The Hope Connection.